Hi guys, my name is Jada. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't been before, if you have, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a very special, interesting video. So for those that don't know, I am a college student. I go to school in Georgia, and I am also a certified film buff. Maybe not certified, but you know what I mean. And I feel like every single person has been in that situation as a college student. Maybe they had some downtime, maybe they have some homework they want to neglect. Maybe they're getting stressed about the beginning of semester and the midterms and then finals, and you want a little bit of escapism of a good TV show. But where do you start? Well, that's where I come in. This is gonna be a little different, but today I'll be recommending you TV shows based on your major. So just to start off, I only have about 5 or 6 majors for this video, but if you guys end up liking this idea and want more recommendations based on a specific major, just make sure to leave them down in the comments or just subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Just to let me know that you guys really love this content. But let's go ahead and get started with this video. All right, so the first major that I have is environmental science. Our tree huggers, the ones that care about the environment as they should. And the TV show that I recommend for you guys is Snowpiercer, starring David Diggs, Lafayette, and Thomas Jefferson from Hamilton. And this show takes place in a time where climate change has finally won. I know. So Snowpiercer takes place when the world has frozen over. So the world heated up first, and then the world got extremely cold. It's basically too cold to live on. It's too cold to snow, like it's freezing. If you just step a finger outside, you will die. And so how they combat this is that the last of civilization lives on a train that goes all around the world and doesn't stop. So this show isn't completely, it isn't too sciencey, so those who aren't environmental science majors can get into it, but those who are, I definitely think that it has an interesting concept that environmental scientists could like or get angry at. The next major that I have is theater, and I'm gonna be honest, the show that I have, this one is probably the biggest stretch out of the ones that I've chose, but I'm gonna explain it. I'm gonna justify it. And the show that I have chosen for the theater majors is Jane the Virgin. First off, representation. I'm all about that. We love representation on this channel, but also just because for theater majors, when I think of theater, I think of melodrama and dramatics and over the top and shock factors. And I'm not just thinking about theater and shows in general. I'm thinking also just like the theater kids that I meet. They're just very energetic and dramatic in all the best ways possible. And Jane the Virgin has all of that. You are going to be put on a wild ride throughout all, I think, 5 seasons of the show. There's shock factors, there's twists, there's turns. It is so dramatic that it's just chef's kiss, and you're gonna love it if you're a theater major. If you don't, well, don't tell me. I don't want to know if I was wrong. But if you think the show is too far of a stretch,
no, I don't see a theater major liking that.
Fine. I'll give you the obvious choices, which is Glee or High School Musical, the musical, the series, which honestly, I feel like if you're a true theater kid, y'all would have watched those already. So let's spice it up. All right, so the next show that I am recommending is for history majors. And if you haven't heard about this show yet, what are you doing? Are you living under a rock? Are you just not jumping on the bandwagon because you don't want to be that person? What are you doing? Because the show that I'm recommending is Outlander. And I know what you're going to say. It's a romance. So you can love history and still love romance. And the reason why this show is perfect for a history major is because it's literally about a woman whose time period is the 1940s. I think it's right around World War II. And somehow she finds her way transported back into 18th century Scotland. And what's not to love about that? You got romance, you got 2 time periods that is not of our own, and I feel like it would be a historian's dream to literally place themselves in past historic events. Like, it's perfect. And if you're worried about the romance factor, like if romance is not really your thing, I promise you, you're not gonna mind Claire and Jamie, okay? You're not gonna mind it. My dad watches Outlander and he loves it. Maybe love is a stretch, but he does like it. So it's for all genders, for all types, and it is for, I feel like it truly is for the history buff. Okay, so this next major is philosophy. I've never taken a philosophy class, but I feel like I get the premise of what it's about. But the show that I recommend for a philosophy major is The Good Place, and there is so many reasons to this one. Now let me explain a little bit about The Good Place. So we've all heard the concept of heaven and hell after death, but in The Good Place, they believe that there's just a good place that you go if you're a remarkable citizen, or the bad place. And in the show, we follow 4 people who have been put into the good place, and we basically just reflect on how their actions got them there. And it is really funny, it is really cute, but on the surface, yes, it's a sitcom, but it's so much more. It talks about morals, and it constantly begs the question if people are just inherently good or inherently bad. If people are just inherently good or inherently bad. And I think philosophy majors would really appreciate that. And if that still doesn't sell you, one of the main characters is an actual philosopher in the show. So, I mean, there's that. And the last major that I'll be recommending for you today is English majors. They have my heart. English has always been one of my favorite subjects. And the show that I recommend for English majors is Dickinson, with our girl, Haley Steinfeld. If you don't like Haley Steinfeld, you're just a hater because she's great. Honestly, I think the reason why for this one is pretty obvious. English lit major, one of the most famous poets in history. I mean, it's a match made in heaven. But it should be pointed out that this show is a comedic take on the life of Emily Dickinson. There's a lot of dark humor, and yes, when you hear that,
Emily Dickinson comedy,
you might be like, I don't think that will work, but it does. Trust me, it does. And I love how the show incorporates different ways to include her poems. I know what you're thinking, Jada. It's about her life. I wouldn't include her poems. You'll see what I'm saying when I say that I love how they incorporate it. And I really think that this show would be a great choice for an English major. All right, there you have it, guys. That is the shows that I recommend to you based on your major. I worked really hard on this. I did a lot of research. In this case, I think I've watched every single show that I recommended. Yes, I've watched every single show that I recommended, so I am not just saying this with no inclination of what I'm talking about. I've watched these shows. I love these shows. I do want to conclude this by saying no spoilers in the comments. Some of these shows I have not finished yet, and even still, we don't want to spoil it. Why would we watch a video about recommending TV shows just to spoil it for them before they've even watched it yet? So yeah, no spoilers in the comments, but I really hope you guys liked this video. I hope it was informational for you, beneficial, and let me know if you guys watched the shows that I recommended, and let me guys know if you want a part 2 for this for more majors, or let me know if you weren't exactly filling the options for these majors, and I could always come up with something more, although I'm pretty confident that these work. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, make sure you subscribe, like, and visit my channel more often. Adios.